there's a challenging spirit within Honda. It gives us the courage to go faster and the thinking to make it real. Whether it looks like a truck, a sedan, or an SUV, inside is the heart of a race car.
Hungry for SVRA action? Well, the best way to enjoy classic auto racing is with a delicious classic from Mission Foods. Green flag your race-watching snacks with Mission's mouth-watering race day recipes. Try some of our tasty tacos, piled high nachos, fresh chips with guac, and more. So gear up your ride and fuel up those stomachs with delicious Mission Foods. Now that's too fast, too tasty.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. It's a beautiful day here, and it doesn't get any better than this. I mean, imagine if you were in a band and you were 15 years old and they said, okay, you two played last night, but tonight you're on and you got to follow them. Well, that's pretty much what it must be like for these youngsters going out for Formula R. That's Formula Regional, if you will, the Formula 3 around the world. And this is really such a huge stage to be on. Some 400,000 people were here just 2 weeks ago, and these guys are all dreaming of being on that stage in Formula 1. It's an FIA championship with super license points up for grabs, and we've got a great field as always. And think about some of the champions we've had in the past. Kyle Kirkwood, Dakota Dickerson, Linus Lundqvist, all now part of IndyCar, and our last champion, Raul Hyman, now in Super Formula, and that's the opportunity for the winners here. We've got so many great stories here. I want to start with one man who, though, while not going for the championship, is experiencing COTA. He's been here before, but for the first time in this car, Jake Bonilla of San Antonio. How do you feel about your first time?
I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to make up some places in the race. I struggled in qualifying, but had a pretty decent time in practice too, so definitely looking to get out there and make some good results.
You enjoy it, my friend. Jake Bonilla from San Antonio. Watch out for him in the number 20. Another good story, Cole Clerk, another guy from San Antonio. Some really great Texas stories. We had Riley Dickinson winning here at COTA in the Porsche Carrera Cup just a couple of weeks ago. And now we've got another man from Austin, Texas, trying to live his dream. He came here years ago, dreaming of coming here. Ryan, how do you feel?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Got to go for the win. It's win or nothing, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right now, I'll let you be and let you concentrate. There goes our championship leader, Callum Hedge, just 30 minutes away from taking the championship. It's all or nothing. If Callum wins this race, he has a 51-point lead over Ryan Sheehan. If he can keep this up, he should win at the end of this 30-minute race. He starts pole position. The gap is 0.7 in qualifying, but last time out at VIR, boy, is motorsport cruel. He was 19 minutes away from taking the championship at the last round. His suspension broke at Oak Tree, and now we're here at COTA. It's been a long, long season for Callum Hedge, which started back in January, and I've been around the world with him. He's also racing in Australia in Carrera Cup, but this is the most important 30 minutes of his career on the biggest stage in the world, the Circuit of the Americas. Best of luck to Auckland and New Zealand. They'll be up at 3 in the morning there, but I know Mr. and Mrs. Hedge will be up watching, and the rest of the Hedge clan. May the best man win, Ryan Sheehan versus Callum Hedge.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. So cool to be here at the Mission Foods Austin SpeedTour, a beautiful Circuit of the Americas, as we watch the cars here warming up their tires through the Hankook S's. I just want to welcome everybody that's watching on MotorVision in Europe, and I know all the Kiwis down in New Zealand are watching. So happy you can see there the Lone Star flag, Circuit of the Americas. Put those back up for us this weekend, making for some just unbelievable views and vistas. Jonathan Green, although he doesn't sound like it, lives in Austin, Texas, from Austin, Texas, and then I am joined from somebody else from the Lone Star State, currently battling in his own championship in F4 that will be out later today around noon in the F4 U.S. Championship, is Titus Sherlock from Texas, really battling it out. Titus, I remember seeing you here last year, your first time at Circuit of the Americas, first time in F4. What's going through Ryan Sheehan, who's in your position in second place in the points? What's going through your head right now as you go up this formation lap?
Yeah, we're both in pretty similar positions where we need to win the races to stay in contention, so he's just win or nothing right now.
Win or nothing. So are you taking extra chances maybe going up the hill into turn one, or are you trying to see how this thing plays out?
I'm sure he'll be taking chances. Callum will be cautious since he knows he just needs to finish the race. But yeah, Ryan's going to be going all for it for sure.
And it's been weird watching this FR championship this year because it seems like it's three teammates all coming from Crosslink Kiwi really battling it out. And so it's weird because they're probably in the truck together, they're having lunch together, they're talking after each race. And if not for Callum Hedge, this would have been an unbelievable championship run for Sheehan. So it's got to be frustrating sitting in his seat.
Yeah, for sure. It can be weird coming into the trailer with your rival, but I know they're pretty good friends as well. But you can also learn off each other. You can see their data and you can see where you're slower, so it's also helpful as well.
Now, Ryan Sheehan, who has been here, Callum Hedge coming from New Zealand, and I heard from Jonathan Green that he hasn't been here. He's had a lot of time on the sims, and he's seen the track, but hasn't really put any tires down in anger here. So that's going to help Ryan Sheehan, but Callum just went out there and destroyed it yesterday.
Yeah, he looked really fast right from the word go in practice one. And it's a good track to get used to because there's a lot of track limits runoff on the outside, so you can kind of push really fast and get up to speed quickly.
Now that car we just saw there, I couldn't get the number, but that's the second time I've seen him lock up his brakes, and it seems to be his left rear brake. And do you think that's a brake bias issue? What's going on there, perhaps?
I'm not sure if he's locking rears. Usually, yeah, it would be too much rear bias, but also it's cold tires right now, so it's hard to tell.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the Mission Foods Austin SpeedTour with Callum Hedge in first, Ryan Sheehan second, Oliver Wessling third, Cooper Becklin fourth, Cole Kleck fifth, Hayden Bowlesby from New Orleans sixth, Mac Hewitt starting seventh, Manuel Rosa starting eighth, Jake Bonilla, who we talked to at the grid, starting ninth, Everett Stack starting 10th, and Kevin Jansen starting 11th. Coming down to, you can see them now, they're kind of warming up those rear tires, trying to slide them out as they come in here to a grid because these are standing start FIA style starts. You can see that they're trying to stay right because they don't want to come left and pick up any clag or marbles as they come through and get their grid position. Also, Callum Hedge is trying to slowly come to the grid so that he doesn't have to sit there for very long and let his tires cool down. Titus, so great to join you, but I'm going to step out of here. So please explain to the audience the standing start, and I'm going to give it over to Jonathan Green.
Yeah, what you see them doing right now, they're doing burnouts to get temperature in the rear tires just to get the best launch they possibly can. You can see they're lining up in their grid boxes right now. Super important to not go over the line or else you get a penalty. And you can see the last car, Kevin, coming into his grid spot now.
Titus, great to have you. Titus, great to have you alongside me again. Good to see you again. You'll be up in action later today, but this is a big one, a massive one, and we've got to concentrate on the championship hopes of Ryan Sheehan because it's a scant hope, to be fair, but the lights are ready, and out they go, and away we go. Watch for the 66, gets a wiggle on. Callum Hedge gets a good start, even better start from the number 11. Cole Clerk goes to the outside now, but it's going to be Callum Hedge. Bit of a puff of smoke from the 39 of Max Stewart as they dive into turn one here. Big Red, or Mission Foods corner, as we have 29 minutes and 39 seconds, a half-hour race. And tactically, Titus, put yourself in Hedge's position. He's on cold tyres, he'll have warmed them as much as he can, but this is a crucial lap not to make a mistake.
Yeah, crucial to get through these S's as clean as possible and try to get as big of a gap as possible. It looks like Cole Kleck has actually gotten by Sheehan, so he's going to hope that's going to be able to give him a bigger gap. Yeah, and that's crucial. Obviously, Callum Hedge just really needs to complete this race and stay ahead of Ryan Sheehan. The gap, just to remind you, 51 points coming into this race, and as I mentioned, Callum should have wrapped this championship up, and a big lock up there. Should have wrapped this championship up at VIR, but he broke his suspension with just a few minutes to go in that race. When he was on his way to the championship, I'm sure he was writing his speech, but it all went horribly wrong. The suspension broke, and here we are at COTA.
But Callum Hedge, the affable Callum Hedge, I've been with him all season long, starting right back in Auckland, watched him in Australia, watched him throughout this season, starting another big lock up there from Ollie Westling there. But already spun it. Now, why would that be then? Suddenly, just a lock up, do you think?
Yeah, just probably cold tires, not everything quite up to temp yet. You can see he just went into the corner, probably too hot, tried to stay on track, but just couldn't hold it. Into
the Mission Foods Stadium section for the first time. These drone shots really give you an illustration of how that turn 15 is almost a triple apex. Well, the next one is a triple apex. Some call it the McConaughey corner because it's all right, as you could say. But there you go. You can see triple apex 1, 2, and 3 as they come through 18. Slightly off camber there, and definitely off camber here. Tricky corner 19.
Yeah, it's pretty much blind. It doesn't look it, but it's actually a drop into it, and it's hard to see the track limits as well, which they are enforcing.
Yep, and if you saw Formula One here just a few weeks ago, Max Verstappen falling foul of those track limits, that was a bit of an unlucky one there too for the man in 4th place. But Callum Hedge doing what he's been doing all season. 11 wins he's had, and it's been a triumphant season. And the irony is, let me just explain something. Callum Hedge did the Toyota Racing Series in January and February this year, was runner-up by just 14 points to Charlie Wirtz, the son of Alexander Wirtz. So he was runner-up in that championship. He's just become runner-up in the Carrera Cup Australia to Jackson Walls, another one of his foes from TRS. And now here he is in America, and it's not put a foot wrong in America. Every track he's come to, he's never raced before, he's never practiced before. He's just 19 from Auckland in New Zealand, and I'll tell you what, it's hard to make a name for yourself as a racing driver in New Zealand because there's so many good ones going all the way back to the great Chris Amon. Bruce McLaren, of course, McLaren celebrating its 60th anniversary in 2023, but the legend, if you will, continues as another Kiwi on his way, surely, to bigger and better in the world of motor racing. But Ryan Sheehan, just as good a story, almost finished his career in racing right when he started karting, and here he comes right on cue, number 66. The man from Horseshoe Bay and Austin, Texas, making a move, but then losing out. That's a classic mistake, or not mistake, but a classic, you overtake me at 12 and I can get you back under the drive, and that's exactly what's happened. So Ryan will have to build on that. He desperately needs to get past right now. Cole Kleck, the young Texan, holding him off for now. I can almost call you a Texan now. You're in Prosper, right?
Yeah, for the past few years I have been. Cole's doing really well right now. It's only his 2nd FR round, and I think he only had maybe 2 days in the car of testing before, so he's doing really well.
Yeah, I was going to ask because I hadn't had a chance. He was getting a car, he was getting a fitting yesterday, and I had a brief word with him. But why hasn't he done the whole season? Do you know?
I'm not 100% sure. He's switched. He actually started the season with us in F4, and he's switched teams to VRD, and he switched to FR halfway through the season. He's missed the last couple of rounds, but yeah, to come out only his 2nd race of the year and to be in 2nd over Sheehan is very impressive.
You're listening to Titus Sherlock. He'll be in action in F4 in a few hours' time, so stay tuned for that. We'll be live streaming that. If you've just got up in Auckland, New Zealand, welcome, good morning, get the tea on, get the flat whites going, because Callum is doing the business here with 25 minutes to go. He's 25 minutes away. I spoke to him briefly. And also, I can see Cooper Becklin, who had a great BIR. He's also closing up on Ryan Sheehan in 3rd. So Cooper Becklin can also be a thorn in the side. He's had a good win, the high jumper, the university kid, who has definitely jumped some big heights in motor racing in the last few rounds. Cooper Becklin, definitely another name to remember, part of this Crosslink Kiwi story, which, again, goes back to New Zealand. Gary Orton, Tina Larson, Mo, the whole team. Stephen Giles, Roberto Moreno. If you know your motor racing, you'll know that Formula One name. There they all are. And yes, Stephen Giles right in the middle there. Runs a team in New Zealand, former McLaren chief engineer. I think he engineered Mika Hakkinen back in the day. But it's Hedge, Kleck, Sheehan, Becklin, Bowlesby, Hewitt, Rosa. Didn't get a chance to talk to Manuel Rosa, but great to have him back. I was asking where he'd been, and he said, trying to get some money so I can go racing. But the young Mexican is on the grid, and we're going to see another Mexican driver by the name of Cantu later today. So Mexico definitely forging forward now with young drivers all trying to chase Checo and the likes that have come out of Mexico in the last few years. Bonilla is another one. Jake Bonilla from San Antonio. He raced in Formula 4, but this is his first run, as you heard from me earlier, ever in FR. He's done some testing in Dallas, but this is his first time ever, so a big opportunity for him, and pretty scary, wouldn't it be, Titus, to go here for your first one?
Yeah, it's an intimidating and very difficult track. Luckily, it's not too, it's pretty forgiving on mistakes since you have the runoff, but on that back straightaway there, we actually saw Sheehan get by Cole, and then Cole went back down the inside there. And they had some really good battling there, so this is a great race. Yeah,
this battle here that you're watching, and Becklin, as you can see in the 19, the Dayglow Yellow 19 is all over the back of Ryan Sheehan, which is the last thing he needs. And also this is playing into the hands of Callum Hedge, who, look at this, 23 minutes to go, he's already built a 5-second lead. I spoke to him briefly. I was going to speak to him on the grid, but they all took off. But I did have a chat with him personally before we went on air, and he is as laid back as ever. He just wants to get this race out of the way. He's absolutely exhausted from a year of, 3 championships? That's insane. And at 19, though, I bet, Titus, you'll go, and I'd love to do that, because it's so much that nobody says that track time doesn't help. Any time you can get in a race car, doesn't matter what it is good, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. There's no replacement for seat time. And when you're doing one championship, you only have maybe 6 or 7 rounds a weekend, a year. So you're not in the car really too much. Yeah, and interestingly enough, I talked to Callum about the differences between the Carrera Cup and single-seaters. And he said, actually, personally, the G-force is about the same. The speeds aren't that different. Obviously, you've got more gizmos and gadgets in the Porsche, but generally speaking, and the same is true of the FR series down in New Zealand. It's a slightly different car, but really, once you get your head around it, a little bit different here and there, but it's the same thing. Now, can Sheehan get past in the 66? The youngster, he came here at 9 years of age with his dad to this very event and fell in love with motorsport, and he's been chasing his dream ever since, and this is the closest he's come to the championship. He too started his year in New Zealand, but that was his first time. We talked about Jake Bonilla. That was his first time in an FR car, so he did 6 weeks of learning and then jumped straight into the championship and won the first 2 races. And then from there on in, Callum has pretty much dominated. But the good thing for Sheehan is he's just been consistent, and it's why the championship is still alive coming into this round. We thought it was all over at VIR, but it changed very quickly with just those few minutes to go after that broken suspension. Clegg doing a good job. Here comes Sheehan, though, up the top of the hill. Nice overtake. That is a classic turn 1 overtake, and he's made it stick at the Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers turn 1. Oliver Westling, had a quick chat with him before the start. He, too, looking to make it to the next step. Not sure what he's racing next year. Would like to look at Indy next, perhaps, and possibly another season of FR Regional here. But undecided yet, and it's all about gaining sponsorship. The big Texas flag. It's a big year for Texas single-seater races, isn't it? I mentioned Riley Dickinson, he too in Carrera Cup, but we've got so many good single-seater guys coming through F4 and FR at the moment. Yeah, I mean, you have Cole and Ryan right here fighting for it. It looks like he actually over-undered Ryan again at turn 1 because Ryan went up the inside. It looks like Cole is still ahead.
So that's, I mean, this is good racecraft because Ryan, like I said, has got a lot more time under his belt in this car. So Cole doing a really good job of holding him off. But now the slipstream. A chance for, once again, the 66, the all-gold 66, down the back straight towards 12. He's got the position, but Cole comes to the inside, and he will try to late brake as hard as he can. Both of them are really late on the anchors, but that's good work from Cole Clegg, and he does it again and holds off Ryan Sheehan. This is not the battle Ryan wanted to be in, given the gap now 6 seconds to Callum Hedge. Hedge on his way to what should be the championship if he wins this race.
Yeah, this is exactly what Callum would have wanted and exactly not what Ryan would have wanted.
Exactly.
He's just pulling a big gap now, 6 seconds. All the battling and defending Cole is doing is costing Ryan lots of time.
Well, to be fair, I said that Callum Hedge, by the way, they're teammates, of course, at Crosslink, so they see each other's data, they work with each other, they've got a good relationship. Obviously, it's competitive, but they have a good relationship, and Ryan's so level-headed, and that's why he's been so consistent. He doesn't get flapped and doesn't get, nervous. You heard from him on the grid there. He was like, he's ready to go. Here he goes again, same overtake. Now he's just got to make it stick and not make the same mistake. But he's a big learner. Cole Clegg comes side by side with them as they head towards 2. It's neck and neck between these two. Cole Clegg is not giving in. They are side by side as they come towards the bridge, as they come towards the Hankook S's. still side by side, and Kleck takes the advantage again. And if they're not careful, Cooper Becklin is going to take both of them.
Yeah, super impressive from Cole. It seems like Ryan is definitely a bit faster, but Cole's just doing really well defending right now.
Yeah,
sure.
And you know Cooper's well experienced. He'll wait, won't he? And wait for his chance as they come up to 9 and 10. Nice view of that shot. Great grandstand place to go and sit and watch. That crest over 10, one very impressive corner. And then you see the heavy braking here into 11. Big bump there. We found that out in Formula One, just going on into that corner. And obviously, COTA has been famous for its bumps, and they've scraped them and cleaned them and repaved them. But it's all part of the character. And, these guys will be experiencing them. Certainly Ryan Sheehan knows all the bumps and bruises, having done F4 here. Now, again, he closes in on the 11. And Cooper Becklin looking for his way past both of them. A good season for Cooper too, gets his first win, and now looking for the inside move at 13. There is a caution out. Now, I don't know what's caused that, but we have a yellow flag out, and that could change everything because poor old Hedge, debris on the track at turn 20. That's the final corner here at the Circuit of the Americas. So the 7.4 gap that Hedge had built has come to naught. He's going to be so frustrated. He's done all the hard work, and now the safety car comes out. That must be annoying.
Yeah, he had such a big gap. He just really needed to bring it home at that point. He won't want to see that, but it'll give Cole and Ryan some hope to maybe to get the win.
It's certainly, I mean, you know, as you heard, I said this is it. You've got to win or nothing, and he at least is now getting a second bite of that possibility. But it's scant, as we've said all along. But we'll see. We will see, because we are under caution now. And just going back to the qualifying, it was a good qualifying session last night as the sun was going down here. Callum Hedge doing a 2:03.5 for Crosslink. His teammate a 2:04.3. So the gap was 0.776, which is pretty healthy for Callum. But it's been that way all season long. And what's impressed me more than anything else is this teenager's ability to go to tracks that he's never been to and be on the pace immediately. And that's not an easy thing to do, is it, Ty?
No, definitely not. I mean, you know, nowadays we have sims. We have a lot of things to help us get pretty close, but there's nothing quite like being on the track itself. Yeah.
Well, I've watched Callum since he was a wee nipper. He started off in Formula Ford, won the championship there, and from there got a Carevet scholarship and went into tin top racing into the Toyota 86 championship, which I commentated on and followed his career in that, and he dominated in that. That gave him a chance to two things actually. It gave him a chance to join Earl Bamber, another famous New Zealander, former single-seater guy himself, and also a world champion in his own right with Porsche. But he now works with Earl Bamber in Australia in the Carrera Cup, so that Tin Top Championship allowed him to get a test with the team. He did that successfully and has been working in Australia for the last 2 years. And in fact, he's going over to do a test for the Super Cup for next year, which is a really big privilege for those that get picked to go from the Carrera Cups around the world. So massive year for this youngster and a real turning point. I was there in New Zealand when he chose to come here, and they've been on the phone to Scott Goodyear and a few others, and there's big discussion. The racing community in New Zealand is small but very robust and very, very conscientious of its young talent and trying to get them the right place. I got asked questions about what the tracks were like, how good the series was, and I absolutely said, come and enjoy racing in America. You'll enjoy it. It's a good fraternity. Crosslink Kiwi, one of the best teams in the world and the most successful team here in America, ironically, because there's some very impressive teams here. But Crosslink have dominated. They're from Dallas, Texas, or they reside there, and Tina Larson and Gary Orton have put on a great job of bringing champions through. Well, we're under caution here.
Well, Jonathan, actually, if I can cut in,
go for it.
I'm just here monitoring race control. Lights are out, so they're about to do this restart. So can you explain the restart process here?
Yeah. Okay, well, you'll see the safety car, which is the car in gray, just ahead of the field. You can see it's accelerating away now, and you can see the field slowing down. This delta, this line you see here, gives the driver now the opportunity to choose when to accelerate away. That's the Formula One rules anyway. But anyway, he's now in, this is Hedge, is now in control of this race. He slows it right down as the pace car does come in. Thank you for that, Ben. Very important indeed. But now into turn 20. He's waited, and now he'll accelerate away as the rest of the field. And it's now or never for Kleck and Sheehan if they want to get past. Sheehan has to get past Kleck here with 13 minutes to go, and they're weaving from side to side. Cole Kleck doing a great job of holding off the young Austinite, but here comes Cole to take the lead of the race away from Hedge. The last thing he needed. Hedge snaps it back. I bet that frightened him a bit. That is not what he wanted.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. Cole had a great restart there. You could see Callum trying to break the draft, but obviously it didn't work. But Cole went a little bit too deep, and Callum was able to go underneath him again.
You know, talking about New Zealanders, Jonathan, that was such a Scott Dixon thing. He knew he just had to be patient. He was going to do the over-under, and that really just shows the head on Callum Hedge and the knowledge that he has. He knew that Cole could make that move, but wasn't going to be able to make it stick.
Well, I wasn't joking about that fraternity, and it doesn't just go to the guys that put the money in, like the Tony Quinns and the foundations and you know, care vets, you name it. It's also the drivers. Van Gisbergen, you know, McLaughlin, they watch these races, and they're in touch with these drivers, and they're giving them tips when they can. And so, and Rango's Wessling, the Swede, gets it wrong, and maybe the tyres again a little cold because he was involved in that first incident, wasn't he?
Yeah, hard to tell from that, but probably the same as the first time. Just went in a little bit too hot and tried to stay on track.
Teammates again, Becklin and Sheehan side by side into 12. And Becklin gets through. Sheehan not having the race he needed at all. Hedge still leading, but he's got Kleck all over the back of him. Sheehan has to get past Cooper Becklin here.
Yeah, another interesting thing is we've seen a couple drivers cross the pit outline, which it was pretty clear in the drivers' meeting we're not allowed to do that. So I've seen a couple drivers do it now, so it'll be interesting to see if they get penalties for that afterwards.
You make a very good point. I was in the SVRA drivers' meeting, and that point was brought up again. You're talking about as you come out of the point, or as you cross up the hill, right?
Yes.
There is a pit exit, which you're not allowed to cross if you're coming out of the pits, and you're also not allowed to cross if you're in race mode. So. And also all four wheels. You saw Callum Hedge getting close there. That's all four wheels, and that's not allowed. So we'll see. We'll see.
For the F4 and the FR, at least, we have to have at least two wheels on the red and white curving.
Red and white, yeah.
Yep.
Well, there was a couple there infractions, and I think Cooper Becklin was the one that stood out there. Bowlesby now. Hayden Bowlesby coming into the game, if you will, as he's in 5th place behind Sheehan, but it's Hedge, Kleck and Becklin leading the way. Already Hedge has built up another 2-second lap, and he's literally crossing his fingers, crossing his toes, hoping that no more safety cars with 10 minutes to go.
Looks like the number 12 of Rosa does not have an engine cover on. I think that might have been the safety car we had earlier.
That might have been the debris at 20, yeah, it just blew off, huh?
Yeah, it must have been, just not put on correctly or something.
Good stories all through. Everett Stack has just moved up from F4. Bonilla, we just mentioned, has been out of racing, but he's done F4, and now this is his first run at FR, and it's a great place or a great event to come to, the final race of the year, to see just how you stack up and let the team managers see whether you've got the talent or whether you've got the ability to go forward. And I think all of the guys, even though it's a small field, I remember when Kirkwood won his championship, it was a really small field because we were just starting out with FR in this country. But no one doubted the sheer talent that Kirkwood had, and he has given back to the sport in spades, and now is absolutely on everybody's list in IndyCar, if not Formula One, if Andretti gets there.
Yeah, interesting. And Sheehan is dropping back pretty fast now. He's a couple seconds behind Becklin already, and now he's losing 2 more positions, so I think he might have a problem.
Yeah, I think he's got... it's certainly not the Ryan Sheehan we've seen all season long.
Yeah,
because
I was wondering that, or maybe because it was just throwing, everything at this race. Maybe if they tried something in the setup that they just didn't get right. Maybe they took a big risk in the setup, and because I've never seen him fall off like this. Usually he's right there in 2nd place, right behind the leader, Callum Hedge.
Yeah, and you make a really good point because they've been, and like you said, they share the data, they've been within 2.2 of each other in most of the races. It's just that Callum has got to the line quicker or before Ryan. But as you say, this is not the Ryan Sheehan we're used to seeing. And then again, Cooper Becklin coming up on Cole Kleck as Hedge is off into the distance. But these two going at it. for second and third. Great battle between these two. Cooper Beckland's been doing the whole series. Cole Kleck just starting out, and this is really good stuff.
Yeah, great battle between these two. It's for P2, so it'll be Cole's first podium in FR, and it'll be, yeah, I mean, really great racing between these two. And yeah, it looks like Sheehan is dropping down to 6th or 7th now, so I think he must have a problem.
I think he must, and unfortunately, I hate to put the muckers on it, but this is pretty much going to end the title fight. There's 2 more races to go, but it won't bother Callum Hedge. In fact, this is what he wanted. He said to me beforehand, I just want to get this race done and dusted and get the championship behind me. He's come up with 2 championships, losing one by 14 points, the other by 21. And it sounds like a lot of points, but it really is nothing. Him and Jackson Walls went to head-to-head in Australia. He and Charlie Wirtz went head-to-head in January, February at his home. He just wants to return back for Christmas. He's going to be engineering some of the 86ers cars this next season in New Zealand, which is great because he's a former champion of the 86 championship. And he's been such an inspiration to people like Liam Skeets and so many others that are coming up. Jacob Douglas now racing here in the USA, and so many others. It's almost like a freight train of talent coming through, and it doesn't matter whether you race or you're engineering. I think of Michael Scott, I think of Ryan Yardley, all of these guys involved in the Crosslink setup who've all come through this sort of factory of great racers from New Zealand. So it's a great story, and you mentioned Scott Dixon, the GOAT, lest we forget. People forget he's been here so long that he, of course, is a New Zealander. But this goes on now. 7 minutes to go. What can Beckland do here? Cole Kleck has showed just what he can do if you try to overtake him here. He'll come back and cut back at you.
Yeah, super impressive from Cole holding off Cooper. Cooper's a second-year driver, I believe, and as I said earlier, Cole's only 2nd round, so super impressive here. He's just been driving on his mirrors the whole race, and hopefully he can hold them off to get a podium. Yeah,
to be fair, I expect this from Cooper. I did not expect this from Cole. This is really impressive, as you say. Another Texan on his way through. Talking of which, the man from Horseshoe Bay. There is Ryan, and there's definitely something. Yeah, he's out of this race. I think he might even pull out. What a shame. I think there's something mechanical happened to the car, and unfortunately he's going to park it. But I know Ryan, if he gets back in the pits and realizes that the game is done, he'll come out fighting for the last 2 races and try and win them. He wants nothing more than to win at home. Like I said, he came here as a 9-year-old thinking, I fancy a go at this. And he's worked his butt off. There's no other which way about it. He has gone with the Austin Bureau of Business. He's worked with real estate and has become an ambassador for one of the top real estate companies in the country. And, you know, he just is 9 to 5. You ask his dad, Doug, he's not putting his hand in his pocket.
Look at this, though,
he's
side by side.
It's brilliant, but Cooper gets through. And this is a great place. The stadium section, this Mission Foods stadium section for this weekend is just awesome for overtaking. But it's hard to do. And soon as Cooper gets through, look at him go. He's got 2 or 3 car lengths in that last overtake. That really impressive now with 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, it looked like at 15, Cole tried to do the over-under again, but Cooper kind of parked it on the apex a little bit, and he had to hit the brakes on the exit, and that's why that gap formed really quickly.
We're getting great shots. Watch here as we come through Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers Turn 1 as they come up the hill, and I love the design of this track, Jonathan, where it looks like they're coming right into the camera, but it does get really bumpy. Watch the bumps right into that braking zone. Does that do anything to throw you there, Titus?
Luckily, the bumps right there are a little bit before the brakes. You just saw them lock up there. The whole entire track actually kind of is waving up and down, so it kind of unsettles it a little bit. You can also bottom out as well if you're running too low, so you really have to watch out for that.
Yeah, it's there's no question about it. We discovered the bumps at MotoGP and Formula One, but it's always been that way here. But it's a moving feast, as we say, because it really does change from year to year. If you live here, you'll know that the weather is pretty darn tough. And it doesn't matter whether it's full sunshine, as we had all summer, over 100 degrees for the best part of 60, 70 days, or heavy rain in the winter. We had something like 6 days of rain coming in to this weekend. And then before that, it was 95 degrees here in October for the Formula One. So, you know, you never know here in Central Texas.
of kind of silty sand, you know, here in Austin. It is kind of deserty out here, and it's just really hard to get the concrete to settle.
And having watched them build this circuit, they shipped special clay from Arkansas, special heavier clay that would sit better. And I remember when David Coulthard did the first Red Bull demo here, they dug down about 10 feet below the surface to put that soil in. So they made every effort to try to keep this as a bowling surface or a pool table surface, but it just wasn't to be, because you never know, you know, the tectonic plates do their thing. And unfortunately, Coda's been a recipient of some of that, but we love it because it just makes the racing more interesting. You saw how the Formula One was won and lost on a ride height, literally. And the same is true here. You know, you don't have that ability here or the downforce as much, but it makes a big difference.
Yeah, I was here a year ago, and I can already, the first practice I felt bumps that weren't there before. Apex of turn 1 is just bumpier than it was last year, and you actually, avoiding it actually is a little bit faster now sometimes. So
there's one coming in at almost as you turn in at 2 that's been there for a while, and that just ripples through it. If you're not expecting it, that can catch you out. Well, there's no catching out this man. Oh, this is the number 39. Excuse me, we're going back a little bit. That's Max Hewitt. He's had a good season. Max just locking up there at the top as is his wont. No, but there's no stopping this man. That was what I was going to say. The crosslink Kiwi man of Callum Hedge. What a moment for this young man. The Giltrap Group, who have sponsored and looked after so many young New Zealanders on the way up, including Earl Bamber back in the day. And now, I'm sure Earl will be tuning in Australia, as will, I'm sure, many Kiwis getting up early morning to see one of their own, Callum Hedge, in the 17, finally finish what he started. The Tony Quinn Group. Tony Quinn, the Scotsman who owns several of the tracks, including Highlands, I'm sure will be very pleased that this young man has repaid that investment. Not a rich kid at all from Auckland in New Zealand, but has fought his way through, friendly with the whole paddock, and a great guy to share a couple of minutes with and talk racing. He's very laid back, but when he's in the car and when he's doing his job, he is very much in tune with what he's doing. He talked to his engineers and they say, yeah, he's fun out of the car. He's very much a Ricardo in that respect. You think he's not serious about his job, but he is exceedingly so. Did a lot of sim work during the pandemic, and that's not done him any harm either. And now here he is, about to fulfill a championship that he's waited since January to get, quite literally. This will be his 3rd championship this year, and he's 1 minute away from fulfilling it. Cooper Beckland's going to come home a very respectable 2nd place at the moment, and Cole Kleck's going to pick up his 1st podium in the series. So, Titus, that's a great story.
Yeah, great drive from Cole. I think he would be my standout of the day so far. I think there might be on their final lap now, or there might be one more, but he has a gap of 2 or almost 3 seconds back to Bowlesby.
So, Callum Hedge just easing his way, not making any false moves, keeping the gap. And the gap's, what, 2.4 seconds? That's comfortable in motor racing. And the 17 just gliding now on his own, out there. Big future ahead. Next week he heads to Europe to test in the Super Cup to see if he could be part of that. He's about to win 600,000 and follow in the footsteps of Liam Lawson, potentially, and going to Japan to be in Super Formula. Or will he stay here? Maybe he likes it here. Maybe he likes the tracks and try to get into perhaps Indy next, like Kiffin Simpson and a few others that have gone on. Kyle Kirkwood, Dakota Dickerson, great names. Raoul Hyman, last year's champion, also with 11 wins, ironically, but it's going to be 12 this time now for Callum and 2 more to go. But Raoul currently racing in Japan. He took the prize, and this is the last opportunity to take that fantastic scholarship from Honda. So the world is opening up quite literally for this young Aucklander as he follows in the footsteps of Marcus Armstrong, Liam Lawson, and so many others who've been single-seater heroes, channeling his inner Chris Amon, I'm sure. He knew Chris back in the day when he was starting out, but now it's come to fruition. One corner to go for this young man from Auckland, New Zealand, who's travelled the world, is literally quite exhausted from it all. But this is going to be the most satisfying checkered flag he's ever taken. He wins here in Austin, Texas, at the biggest citadel of speed that there is, the Formula One track that is known as COTA. And Callum Hedge brings it home, finally, ahead of Cooper Becklin in a superb second place for Crosslink Kiwi yet again. And Cole Kleck is going to pick up his first ever FR podium in what was, I think, the race of the day in many ways, because he held off Sheehan for so long and just absolutely put his mark on this race, didn't he?
He did, yeah. We were watching him pretty much the whole time, defending from Sheehan and Becklin. Yeah, super impressive stuff. It's not an easy track to defend on with the long straightaways and the hard braking zones, but he did a great job.
Well, Helmut Marko, if you're watching, we've got another one. Here he is. The conveyor belt that is brilliance from New Zealand continues. And Callum Hedge has finally done it. A championship, what he needed. And unfortunately, Ryan Sheehan crosses the line in 10th, but that's not going to be enough to hold off the hard charge. And I want to welcome our viewers on Motorvision in Europe and Star Times in Africa. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed that race. And remember the name, Callum Hedge. He's going to be coming to a television near you very soon. Callum Hedge then wins for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsport. Cooper Becklin, his teammate, comes second. Cole Kleck for Speed Factory third. Hayden Boltsby, a good fourth for him. And Manuel Rosa of Mexico takes fifth. Oliver Westling, who had a bit of a spin, is sixth. And Max Hewitt, Jake Bonilla takes his first checkered flag in FR in eighth. Good start for him. Everett Stack in his second event in FR takes ninth. And Ryan Sheehan, sadly, finishes 10th, which is probably the worst result he's had all season at the worst time. But if I know Ryan, he'll bounce back and just perhaps put the championship behind him and race hard against Callum as he has all season for the last two races. Titus, are you ready? Where are you starting for today's race? Oh, what am I talking about? You're on the pole!
Yeah.
You're on the pole. Why would I forget that? Of course. Titus, who, by the way, is still in contention for the championship, one of just three after what was a fourth, a fifth, and a sixth, I think.
Yes, I believe that's correct.
Last time out at VIR, and takes the pole today. So great to have you on board. I'd forgotten for a moment because I read it this morning because I left just before you went out last night. But well done to you. We'll be tuning in. Titus Sherlock is his name. What's the number?
31.
31. From Prosper, Texas. Actually, he's from San Diego. He's a surf man, really. But he lives in Prosper, Texas currently. So then, that concludes our first FR race. We're going to take a break, but we will be back. It's a long break, so don't forget, we will be back on air for that race that we just mentioned, the F4 Americas race. But, of course, we're waiting now to hear from our man Callum Hedge, who's done it in style here, in Texas style. And John Phippen will be the first man to greet him. But, yeah, that was another immaculate race by the number 17, sponsored by Highlands Motorsport Park, by Tony Quinn Foundation, by Carevets, Tasman, Giltrap, as I've mentioned, and yeah, just a great day. Cool as you like. And it's not bad when a former Formula One guy, Roberto Moreno, is the guy doing your GoPro. That's got to be nice.
Yeah.
Let's head down to John Phippen. He has got our winner. And what a day for this young man, Callum Hedge.
We've got our new champion here as he's getting out of the car, getting the balaclava off. And we'll get a chance to chat with him. Callum, may I be the first to congratulate you on your 2023 Formula Regional Americas Championship.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I'm sure you weren't happy to see that yellow flag come out about mid-race.
Yeah, well, I was kind of just driving around conserving the tyres. We put the greens on this morning to make sure we had the best chance to win and try and wrap it up in the first race. I was cruising around conserving the tyres, then got the full course yellow, which was a shame. and had to do it all again.
Nonetheless, anybody you'd like to thank? What a great championship for you.
Yeah, for starters, I'd like to thank the people that made it happen. Steve Horn, Mark Pilcher, they put this all together for me, so very grateful for what they did for me at the start of this year, and big credit to them. And also the people that came on board and helped us out, Tony Quinn Foundation, Giltrap Group, and Tasman Motorsport Group. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Johnny, there's your new champion, Callum Hedge.
Yep, and he's thanked all the right people. Well done, yeah. Mark Pilcher, of course, who's been with him throughout much of the season, and it's just a delightful moment for him. And it's been a long year, I can assure you, and a lot of work. But Crosslink Kiwi, and there's Gary Orton, the team manager, of course, along with Tina Larson. And did you thank your mum? He will. Trust me, mum. I know his mum. He's thanking you deep down, and I know she's watching. 4 a.m. in the morning. Bless. But that's how we started the day, and we've got a full weekend for you here at the Circuit of the Americas with great Trans Am racing, great SVRA racing, and more of the same when it comes to Formula Regional and Formula 4. Their championships all wrapping up at this magnificent venue. So as we look down high above Circuit of the Americas, we're going to take a pause from the action, and like I said, we'll be back in a couple of hours at 12 local time to give you all the racing from the Formula 4 series. But of course, let's celebrate with the podium, which will be momentarily underway. So that's the 12th win for Callum Hedge. Put that in perspective. Last year's champion, Raoul Hyman, took 11. Didn't quite get near the dizzy heights of Kyle Kirkwood and Linus Lundqvist, who in their championship, I think, was at 15 wins in their season. So Callum could easily get 14 if he wins the next two as well, and there's no reason why he wouldn't. He's now can relax. 2 more races to go as the weekend continues. Yeah, Kyle Kirkwood taking 15 victories. Yeah, confirm that. But both Ryan Sheehan and Callum Hedge on their way to bigger and better, and literally watched them grow up in front of my eyes in the last couple of years. Ryan coming into F4 and doing a great job in that series, and he was very close to winning the F4 series as well. Not to be, though. Let's head down now to the podium. John Phippen with the ceremonies.
Mike, check.
There he is. We got him. John, take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get our podium celebration underway. Let's bring up a driver we haven't seen since mid-Ohio. Cole Kleck, ladies and gentlemen, your third-place finisher. Cole, congratulations. Welcome back to the championship.
Thank you.
You did a pretty good job in the first start, keeping Ryan Sheehan behind you. I know that he was still battling for the championship and had hoped to move forward, but you did a great job of making that car wide.
Yeah, Ryan's a very talented driver, and I tried like hell every corner just to keep him behind me, but massive respect for all the drivers that were racing today, and I couldn't thank Scott Goodyear for putting on this good show for us, and VRD and Jacob Loomis for getting us here, and I want to thank God for just bringing us all drivers here today and finishing the race safe.
Is this a chance that we might see you next season?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Let's hope so. Anybody else you'd like to thank?
Oh, my family, dad, mom, the girls back home, Speed Factory, all the boys from just part of the day one journey.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Third place finisher, ladies and gentlemen, Cole Kleck. Let's bring up our second place finisher. He had a battle all race long. Cooper Becklin, ladies and gentlemen. Cooper, my goodness, I don't think there was an instant in this race where you didn't have somebody either right in front of you or right behind you.
No, I think maybe there was half a lap, maybe a lap. It started off with Oliver. We went side by side all the way down the back straight, and then Cole and Ryan started battling, and I was just kind of sitting there watching them for about half the race, and then we went under yellow, and Ryan I don't know what really happened with Ryan, but I got him. It looked a little like something went wrong or something. Got him down the back straight, and then was battling Cole for the rest of the lap. So yeah, it was a very eventful race, but it was a very fun one as well.
Fun to run for sure. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I mean, everybody at Crosslink Kiwi. I had a little problems yesterday, missed first practice, and so a little behind on the old track time, but everybody helped me out, and we're here now, so.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Second place finish for Cooper Becklin, ladies and gentlemen. And now the man of the hour. Ladies and gentlemen, may I be the first to introduce you to the 2023 Formula Regional Americas champion, and that is Callum Hedge, ladies and gentlemen. Callum, you entered this race with a 51-point advantage. Obviously, Ryan Sheehan needed to get in front of you to keep his championship hopes alive. You said, you know, right from the start that you were going to put your stamp on this race, and you got away.
Yeah, got a really good start. Haven't made too many good starts this year, but finally got a good one. We put the green tyres on this morning to give us the best opportunity to wrap it up in the first race. So that's what we did. The car was really fast. Big thanks to the team, Kiwi Motorsport. Thanks, Paul. Thanks for all your work. And thanks to everyone who made it happen.
13 wins out of 16 races. You've got to be pretty pleased with how this season has gone.
Yeah, you can't really ask for much more than that. We'll see if we can wrap up 2 more this rest of the weekend and see how we go.
What does next year hold for you?
Well, big thanks to HPD and Honda for the awesome scholarship they offer this series. So we're chatting to them, discussing what we can do, and see where we go.
Hope to see you in Japan next year.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you.
Callum Hedge, ladies and gentlemen, your 2023 Formula Regional Americas champion.
So there you see our new champion of 2023, following in the footsteps of the likes of Kyle Kirkwood and many others. But more importantly for him, he's following in the footsteps potentially of Liam Lawson, of course, who's just become runner-up in that Super Formula Championship. Honda offering a scholarship worth over $500,000 for the winner of this series. And Callum, as he says, is going to be in discussions to see what the best way forward is for him. But I can tell you that he is going with those sponsors and that talent all the way.
Radford Racing School,
great to see a new champion here in the USA. And some great talent like Cooper Becklin and like Cole Kleck from San Antonio. So good to see these youngsters making their way up as the next superstars of motor racing worldwide. We'll take a short break. We'll be back, actually. We're going to take a longer break than normal because we're going to come back with the F4 race, and that's going to be at about noon local time. We're on Central Time here in the USA. So from the Circuit of the Americas, well done again to Callum Hedge, our new 2023 Formula Regional Americas champion from Auckland, New Zealand. We'll be back in a couple of hours to decide potentially who wins in F4.
Everything in our garage is inspired by our racing spirit. Race in for a great deal on the Honda CR-V. Only at the Honda Dream Garage Spring Event.